Talal, who are you?
My name is Talal Tabbaa. I'm a crypto entrepreneur currently running CoinMENA, the region's leading crypto exchange. First got into crypto. Heard about it in university, didn't really think much of it. And then in 2014, my brother Hashim was studying in Bentley University in Boston in the US. And they had a visiting lecturer, a guy called Bruce Fenton. And he basically told everyone in class, open up a wallet on blockchain.com and try to fill it in with Bitcoin. And that basically lecture changed my brother's life and mine. In school, they used to teach us buy the S&P, buy bonds, buy... But in my mind, if I do the same thing everyone else is doing, how can I become rich? Crypto, it is 24/7. It is a public network.
What were some of the biggest mistakes you made? Talal, who are you and what do you do in one sentence?
So my name is Talal Tabbaa. I'm a crypto entrepreneur currently running CoinMENA, the region's leading crypto exchange. So I help people buy and sell Bitcoin, USDT, and other cryptos.
Right. And how did you first get into crypto?
First got into crypto. So I heard about it in university, didn't really think much of it. And then in 2014, my brother Hashim was studying in Bentley University in Boston in the US. And they had a visiting lecturer, a guy called Bruce Fenton, who came and gave them a lecture. And he basically told everyone in class, open up a wallet on blockchain.com and try to fill it in with Bitcoin. And that basically lecture changed my brother's life and mine, because my brother called me up. He's like, Talal, there's this thing called Bitcoin that you really need to look into. And that was basically what kicked it all off.
Sure. What has your reason for investing in crypto changed over time?
I would say that it's been consistent. And the way that I think of it is, in school, they used to teach us buy the S&P, buy bonds, buy... But in my mind, if I do the same thing everyone else is doing, how can I become rich if everyone else is doing the same thing? So I wanted to do something different and to invest in something different. And I guess I had worked as a financial advisor or consultant to banks, central banks, and financial institutions. And I realized money was pre-internet. So the intersection between the internet and money led me to Bitcoin. And I would say it's financial freedom is what I wanted to achieve by investing in crypto. And I think that still remains to be the reason why I'm in this industry.
What were some of the biggest mistakes you made when you started investing in crypto?
Oof. Too many mistakes, but I think I will rank them from most critical to least critical. I would say first is getting too excited when the market is amazing and becoming too depressed when the market is bad. So you need to equalize your emotions. In the bear market, don't get too excited. In the bull market, don't get too excited. In the bear market, don't get too depressed. So you have to equalize your emotions. And then don't use leverage unless you know what you're doing. And most people don't know what they're doing. So that's why I would avoid using leverage and focus on spot. Or if you're going to use leverage, don't use crazy leverage. 3x, 5x, those are manageable. But if you're doing 20x positions, most likely you're better off gambling, because that's essentially what you're doing with a 20x position, in my opinion. And then third, I would say not focusing or understanding custody or counterparty risk, thinking that your Bitcoin is sitting in exchange X versus broker Y versus self-custodial wallet. Those are very different things. If you had money in FTX, if you had one Bitcoin in FTX, instead of getting $90,000, you would have gotten $16,000 or $17,000. And that's in the case of FTX, where they actually paid people back. There are other examples where crypto exchanges go bust and you don't get back your money. So I would say managing your emotions in the ups and downs, leverage or responsible or no use of leverage, and then counterparty risk and custody. So those are the three mistakes / learnings from, But we keep learning something new in crypto. That's what I like about it, is no one really, that's actually, I would say, going back to your question of why I got into crypto. One of the things I absolutely hated is going to a meeting with bankers, and the banker could easily say, I've been doing this for 30 years, so I know what's best. Or going to, there's crypto, everyone is new. So there's no one that's way more experienced than the rest. And I felt that if I spent enough time, I could be able to understand the industry as good as anyone else does. Whereas if I wanted to try and understand banking, there's people that have 30, 40, 50-year head start.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. You said that you came to crypto investing for financial freedom. What does financial freedom mean to you?
It's a very good question. It has two angles. First of all, not having to worry about working to live, meaning if I need to get my salary so that I can pay my rent and then pay my expenses and whatnot, I did not want to have that. I want to be able to, because I believe that return on equity is, if you're using your time to generate money, you're not in a good position. You need to make sure that your assets are generating you money, because time is limited, whereas assets, they're working while you're not working yourself. So I guess financial freedom, the first one is not having to work in order to live. And if you're buying Bitcoin and you have a long-term view, and Bitcoin is appreciating from, I don't know, a few $100s when we first got in until $100,000, then that allows you to have that financial safety net. And then the other one is counterparty risk. I know I have family friends in countries where they couldn't withdraw their money, even though it's sitting in there in dollars. Argentina, Lebanon, Egypt, those are all examples of countries where you can send your money out, even if it's really your money. So two things for financial freedom: your ability to protect your purchasing power so that you have enough money to live and not have to worry. And then the second is your ability to send and receive that money freely without the local counterparty risk, which many people don't take into consideration.
Being able to send money from and to each other freely is something very unique about crypto. You said that when you spoke with the bankers, they would say to you, I've been doing this for 30 years, therefore I can do this better than you. What are some of the issues with traditional finance generally?
I mean, if you compare how easy it is to send a WhatsApp message from here to Canada or from here to LA versus how difficult it is to send dollars from Jordan to LA, where if you send the money on Thursday at 6 p.m., the money would only leave Jordan Sunday morning and will possibly arrive in your account in the US Monday afternoon. That's the best case scenario. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It is unacceptable in 2025 for money to take 5 days to arrive. And reality is, we've seen wire transfers get stuck as long as 130 days. Well, that's obviously some issues had happened, but yeah. So if you compare how easy it is to send a WhatsApp message or email versus how difficult is it to send mail, that's the same analogy. With crypto, it is 24/7. It is a public network, which means that you can send the money if you have the private keys. Yeah. It's very hard for bankers to understand crypto properly because of the innovator's dilemma. Similar to how Blockbuster didn't really like Netflix, or how New York Times wouldn't have liked Instagram, or Intercontinental aren't going to like Airbnb. So this is kind of, yeah. So banks make money off that inefficiency. Those inefficiencies allow banks to make money. So there's a bit of an innovator's dilemma issue here.
What is so special about crypto that you're focusing your life and career on it?
There's many things that I think are unique and interesting about crypto. But I think the main reason that it attracted me is that I felt that it is one of the most groundbreaking technologies that we've seen in our lifetime, and putting effort into it in its early days allows you to open many doors. So I think of it as, if I was in the 90s and I saw that Excel and Microsoft Office and all these things are coming out, and I could have had two options. Let's say I worked as an accountant. I could have looked at it in two ways. Oh, wow, Excel is going to make me lose my job because it's going to replace the need for me to do my work. Or I become really good at it, and then I become that super accountant. So similarly, I felt that in crypto, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I felt that understanding crypto properly can make me a much better entrepreneur, because it's a big opportunity that no one else understands. So if I put in the hard work to understand it, to read the white papers, to transact on chain, then that will be a winning bet. I exchange my time to learn this new industry, and then that makes me a much better entrepreneur in an area that has lots of investor interest, but no entrepreneurs properly understand it. No, minimal entrepreneurs properly understand it.
What was the first crypto investment that made you a lot of money?
So I haven't sold, so it depends on how you define making money. If it's realized returns, I don't have those. But to me, I don't care about that. I think ETH was probably my best. Ether was probably my best return so far, X-wise, like returns-wise.
You got into Ether early?
Yeah.
How early?
As early as you can.
That's early.
Yeah.
2015?
Yeah, mate, that's when it launched, basically. You could exchange in their ICO 1 or 2 BTC to participate.
You're the CEO of CoinMENA. There are many crypto exchanges globally. Why do customers choose CoinMENA?
Customers choose CoinMENA for multiple reasons, but the reality is I started CoinMENA because I was a very angry customer of other exchanges. So just because there's other businesses, that doesn't mean they do it correctly or the way that I think it should be done. So, and with CoinMENA, we have a very different experience than the large exchanges. So they focus primarily on in-app experience, whereas we're taking more of the private banking route, where you will have a relationship manager, you will have a much more customized experience that we are focused on. So we're not focused on mass retail. We're focused on users that are trading, let's say, young professionals up until high net worth individuals, where they do want some level of support that other exchanges don't really do. And we figured out a way to scale it. So most customers use CoinMENA for the user experience.
Crypto is global. Why did you focus on the Middle East?
Yeah, so crypto is very global. You can say the same about dollars. Dollars are global, but you don't use JP Morgan in Jordan. You don't use JP Morgan in Mongolia. You use the local bank, use local infrastructure, and they probably coordinate with JPM and the large financial institutions. So again, when we came to set up CoinMENA, we wanted to differentiate from the rest. So how do we differentiate by the rest is by having that local brand that reflects in everything we do. Our designers, they create our app from right to left, not from left to right. The content is written in Arabic. The marketing material is in Arabic. It's not that we're doing something in English and translating it to Arabic and then you try to launch it. And I guess we realize that there's a massive target addressable market that the international players aren't really focused on. And that is the Arabic or local community in the Middle East. Because in Dubai, as you can see, there's many internationals. Those will most likely go to the larger big exchanges. But the locals, they're preferring local brands and ones that have on-ground presence. And that's one of the ways we differentiate ourselves against the competition.
How do you see crypto progressing in the MENA region?
Crypto adoption in the MENA region has been very strong, and that is due to multiple factors. First is the demographic. You have a young population that is constantly on their phones, and I guess constantly on their phones, this is a global thing, not specifically Middle East. But in the Middle East, you have a young population that's quite wealthy, and they're going through one of the biggest wealth transfers in history. If you can imagine the amount of wealthy Arab families that are handing down the reins for their family offices, the fathers, the grandfathers most probably buy London real estate, gold, and the new generation are going to want to buy Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and others, where they see probably Bitcoin as the low risk boomer type of investment, and then the higher risk ones goes to all sorts of different crypto assets. So Middle East, you have demographic is amazing from and honestly the lack of good financial services is another one. If you look at UK banking services, now in the UAE it's improved quite a bit, but UAE is, I would say, more advanced than the rest of the region. Financial services aren't amazing in the Middle East, which allows even a bigger pitch for crypto. And then what else? Regulations, very progressive regulations. We are sitting currently next to VARA, which is the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. It is the only regulator in the world that was specifically created for virtual assets. And the way that I think of it is, imagine when they came up with airplanes, you try to regulate them using the normal car transport authority. So the transport authority had to rethink itself and create something like the civil aviation, so this is what Dubai is doing. They're future proofing by creating a regulator that only does virtual assets, because all around the world they got crypto. Okay, let's put it under central bank, let's put it under the Securities Commission, let's put it under CFTC or whatever, some existing body that already has payroll, buildings, whatnot. This is what makes Dubai different. Is His Highness Sheikh Mohammed said, okay, let's approve this virtual asset regulatory authority, and they will regulate virtual assets as this new asset class. So going back to what makes how I see the region progressing, I'm very biased. The name of my company is CoinMENA. I live in Dubai, so I'm very biased, but with very good reason, because basically every big crypto company around the world has now set up some sort of presence in Dubai or Abu Dhabi.
What crypto products does CoinMENA plan to offer next?
Yeah, so this is one of the interesting ones, because we believe that lack of focus is one of the biggest killers of companies. So we've been operating now for 4 or 5 years with one product and one product only, and that is spot, crypto to fiat, dirham to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to Bahraini dinar, Saudi riyal to USDT. So the next upcoming features will be things that are built kind of around that, and I believe that the end game will be a full-in banking type experience. And I say banking type experience and not bank, because bank has a much bigger license, but essentially you should be able to receive money, spend money, and invest all within the same platform. So we're looking to issue a Visa card. We're looking to add yield opportunities, because that's where you really start to see the efficiencies of virtual assets.
How do you feel about Aave's new yield product?
Well, Aave's yield product is very interesting, because they've done something that no other crypto company has explicitly done before, and that's putting a $1 million guarantee per depositor. If you think of it, the FDIC, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance Company in the US, they do $250,000 insurance. So 4x that is quite impressive. And then Aave has been the leader in DeFi when it comes to yield. Aave have, I think, $30 billion of loan outstanding. Maybe now with the market crash, that number is a bit less, but above $20 billion in loans outstanding, and that's more than most banks. So I'm actually very bullish on Aave as a protocol, and this end user app that they're doing, I will definitely be one of their early users. And getting 6% in dollars is something that in many countries is not attainable to most. So yeah, I'm very excited about the potential behind that.
6% with $1 million guaranteed. It's quite unique.
Yeah, it's very, very unique. And I think I wouldn't classify it as low risk, to be completely. Also, it's important that we don't oversell crypto as a low risk thing, because it's exciting new industry. Obviously, it has to come with risk. If Bitcoin goes from I don't know, $3,000 in COVID days to $90,000 now, obviously you're taking some risk, good risk, enough risk to justify such a return. And I think the same applies with Aave. So 6% is logical. I can get my head around 6%. What I can't get my head around is Terra Luna paying 20% on the deposit. That was clearly something that was not going to be sustainable, because where the hell can you make 20%? 6%, yeah, sure, I can kind of understand that, given where Fed interest rates are now. But 20% for Luna when global interest rates was very low at the time, yeah, it didn't make any sense, and we saw how that collapsed.
Yes, we did. What gives you conviction to continue building and pushing in a bear market?
I don't really think of it that way. You have to work whether it's the bull or bear market. Like, just because it's the bear market, I can't go on vacation. Actually, what you build in the bear market, you reap the benefits in the bull market. Because in the bull market, you're not focused on building. You're focused on generating returns. And that usually is not building mode. Usually build in the bear market so that you're able to reap the benefits in the bull. Because you don't have enough time to build something, launch it, onboard, improve, iterate, all in the bull market. So if you relax in the bear market, then you're not gonna have a good bull market. I think of it, all of the good things we've had in CoinMENA happened because we worked very hard in the bear market, and when the bull market came, we were ready.
What's the hardest part about your job?
Hardest part about my job? Hiring. Hiring, I would say. Yeah, hiring is definitely the hardest thing about my job, and I would argue probably any CEO's job. Because you need to find people that are smart, motivated, and fit well within your team. And I focus heavily on the fit well within your team kind of thing. And that got me thinking of the football coach analogy. If you think of football teams that have just brought, you can apply this to any sports team. If you just fill it in with superstars, you don't guarantee a good result. You need to have a well-balanced team where some people are good at things and others are good at complementary things. So yeah, that's how do you formulate and create the best team, and how do you put incentives so that your team is working without you having to tell them exactly what to do.
Building on that then, how do you hire A players?
How do you hire A players? You have to take your time in hiring, first of all, and you have to actually pitch it to them. A players aren't going to just go on your website, apply, and then wait for a response. You need to kind of pitch it to them. And then once you hire A players, you rely on them to hire A players in their team. Because if I bring a good director and then tell them, hey, you're going to have to work with 1, 2, 3, 4, then again, I'm not giving them the flexibility that they should deserve because they're A players. Referrals. Referrals is probably one of the best ways to hire, because if you trust someone and that someone knows that this is a good person, and yeah. But honestly, there's many things in life that are similar to watermelons. Like you can tap on it before you buy it, you can look at it, but you'll only know if it's sweet or not after you cut it open.
That's a great analogy. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like I know I've spent many times in supermarkets trying to figure out if a watermelon is good or not, and at the end of the day, you can't really know until you tried all sorts of technique, tapping on it, seeing if it's yellowish from the sides, but really you only know what you're going to get after you cut it and you have first bite.
What's your vision for where the crypto market will be by 2030?
Where the crypto market will be by 2030? I think 2030 is too early for that, but I believe that no one says now I work in the internet space, right? Like we all use the internet, but if I asked you what do, you didn't tell me, oh, I'm in the internet industry. Similarly, I think people will stop saying I'm in the crypto industry. They will start saying, I work in finance, I work in agriculture, I work in whatnot. And then they're using crypto and the internet as an invisible thing in the background. I don't think that'll happen by 2030, but probably a bit down the line. And then where do I see crypto in the coming? So number of users, I expect to continue to explode, and it will be similar to how Polymarket works, where you don't have to worry about storing your private keys. You don't have to worry about... so it's a very seamless experience. Crypto will become more invisible as it progresses.
What excites you most about crypto right now?
What excites me most about crypto right now, I would say Aave's one is probably up there. And then seeing how Bitcoin reacts to this recent drop in prices, because I've been a mega Bitcoin bull for as long as I can remember. And for 2025, the Nasdaq, the S&P is up 16-17%, Bitcoin's down 5%. So it'll be very interesting. That I'm very excited to see how Bitcoin crosses that challenge, because I've always felt that Bitcoin is an indication of global liquidity. If there's more liquidity, more money will go to Bitcoin. There's tightening, money will move away from Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm excited for Bitcoin to prove many people wrong, and hopefully I'm not the one that's proven wrong, and the market doubters are the one that's are. Yeah, but if you think of it, there's many things that have happened that were kind of top signals. All the companies that went or tried to go public in the US to create like the Bitcoin treasury, those were very toppish signals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's exciting about crypto is that you don't know what's gonna happen.
Definitely.
But from a user adoption standpoint, I'm particularly interested about Aave and opportunities that allow anyone to generate dollar yields. Okay, when they say crypto is the great equalizer, what does that mean? If 30 years ago, you needed to be a multi-millionaire to have a bank account in dollars in Switzerland, outside of your country. Let's say I'm living in Cairo and I want to have dollars outside of Egypt. I needed to be a multi-millionaire to open up an account in Switzerland or the US or abroad. Today, I can download some wallet and someone sends me USDT, and now I have dollars that are outside of my financial ecosystem, and they're sitting with some offshore entity, which historically was only allowed for millionaires and billionaires. Now you can do it for receiving $2 worth of USDT, and soon you can, or not soon, already you can generate yield on that with Aave as well, making 6%.
Yeah. Last question. Do you have any words that you'd like to share with the builders who are continuing to build and innovate a lot of these assets that trade on CoinMENA?
Yeah, so this is something not from me, but from Brian Armstrong, one of the smartest guys I've followed. He's honestly, what he's done with Coinbase is amazing. They get a lot of hate, but I think Coinbase is one of the best companies of our generation, and doubters will be proven really, really wrong because they've been. It's not easy to be compliant and aggressive. You know, you have companies that are compliant, but they're very reserved and moving slowly. Coinbase are compliant, they lobby for regulations, and they're very aggressive. The thing that I would leave for builders is what I took from Coinbase is if you don't know what to do something. That something will get you data, and that data will tell you if what you did was good or bad. So many times, like, we don't know what to do. Oh, do something. And then that something will give you data, and that data will tell you, did you get more users? Did you spend more money? So it seems very simple, but that's actually what it takes to really be able to build a strong company. And obviously Coinbase, we see them as a very inspiring one, and Brian's strategy is that, and you can implement it to literally everything.
Yeah, they've integrated decentralized exchanges. They're integrating more products. You see their strategy. They offer to other regions first, and then they'll slowly bring the more aggressive products back to the US as long as nothing has blown up internationally. I think it's pretty intelligent.
I mean, they have a big announcement on December 17th, and I'm happy to take a bet on that. Ironically, that I say it's a bet because they're going to launch a prediction market, in my opinion, similar to Polymarket, Kalshi,
Right.
etc., and add stocks.
Right.
So Coinbase will no longer just be a crypto exchange. It's become an all-in investment app, and it's crazy that we're living in times where betting is now part of finance, which is what's happened. They've called it prediction markets so that it can become part of finance easier than gambling that has a negative connotation.
Definitely.
So Frank, I'm curious, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Frank. I'm the CEO of two companies, Yieldschool and New Market Trading, both which service crypto asset investors.
Very nice. And how did your background as a securities attorney lead you to getting into crypto?
Well, as a securities attorney who was already in crypto before I was even an attorney, I saw how the financial regulatory body was set up, how that interacted with traditional financial market participants, accredited investors, and non-accredited investors. And I saw that this system, which separates companies into a public market and a private market and causes a lot of wealth inequality and a lot of issues, I saw how that was set up, and I thought, no. This technology that is being built is, the market is going to like it a lot more. And so I got into this technology and this asset class from that learning of being an attorney who practices securities law.
It's very interesting. You mentioned the professional investor versus retail and how it contributes to wealth inequality. It's something that I also fully agree with. All right. So in your own words, what is Yieldschool?
Yieldschool is the service that any independent crypto investor should use if they want to be positioned in the crypto market for the next 5, 10, 15 years. We take an average crypto investor or a high net worth crypto investor, and we show them exactly how to invest in the primary markets, how to use on-chain data to build a portfolio that will go through any phase of the market cycle, if it's bull market, bear market, or flat.
Very nice. And what is new market trading?
New market trading is an on-chain execution service. So we manage the connection between a crypto investor's capital and the primary markets. The primary markets have a lot of products that centralized exchanges don't have, a lot of yield products, delta neutral products, derivatives. And we are a service that actually connects the investor's capital that they have in their custody directly to these high yield, high growth products in the primary markets.
And what led you to building that? Because this is a massive gap in the market. Many investors because we're a centralized exchange, many investors don't know how to deal with the on-chain world. So curious, what led you to building new market trading?
What led us to new market trading was experience with our existing customers. So we've been running Yieldschool for over 3 years now, and many of them really enjoy the experience. And many of them also say, you know what, you guys know more than I do, and I would actually like you to take over. But we don't want to get into that business. We don't want to get into the business of being a private fund where we take the money, we go and invest it for you, and we give you updates once a quarter or once a year. Customers don't like that either. They can just go to some private fund to do that if they want to. We saw a gap in the market where we could actually leverage on-chain technology to in a non-custodial manner, meaning that we don't actually take custody of your money. We can't actually take it from you, but we've developed on-chain technology that will actually connect that capital that they have in their wallet, in their custody, directly to the primary markets. And we can just manage that connection with their pre-approval. And so that's actually what our crypto investors want, who really want the custody of their crypto, not giving it to someone else. But they also want the benefits of having a pro manage that to get the highest possible return from the primary markets.
Very nice. And why do you think you're the right person to build this?
I think that I don't know if we're the right people to build it, but there's a need in the market, and it just so happens that we're the only ones trying to build the service. And so it'll be up to the market to decide if we're the right people, but considering it's a new service, no one else in the market offers this aside from us. I think that we are, as of right now, the right people to build it, considering we're the only ones building it.
Very nice. On to crypto, and why do you think it's special to a point where you're focusing your life and your career on it?
Yeah, I think crypto is special because I do think it's the next phase for the economy and for commerce. I see that building a for-profit enterprise on-chain will have a lot of operational efficiencies against for-profit entities that are using traditional banking, that are censored by traditional regulations that tie them down to a specific jurisdiction or nationality. And so I want to help people navigate themselves into this next phase of the economy and to the next phase of our economic infrastructure.
Very nice. And what do you think are the problems with traditional finance that made you turn to crypto or present the biggest opportunities?
Well, I was a securities attorney, regulatory securities attorney at one of the high-profile law firms in Canada. And so I got a firsthand look into how the traditional financial market works because of financial and securities regulation. And it's a mess. We've got different categories of investors. We've got companies like OpenAI that can reach $1 trillion in market cap without any access to anybody. All of the AI expansion happening in Silicon Valley is going without any access unless you are the premium, most accredited of investors. And I got very familiar actually working on that side of the fence. And then for me to see how crypto operates and to have made a lot of money investing in crypto, to now running Yieldschool for the last 3 years, helping people invest in a different type of asset class, I find it very rewarding. I find it very just like fundamentally interesting. And even from the philosophical angle about the way people should and shouldn't be allowed to decide what's suitable for them in the market, I align myself much more with what's happening on chain and in the crypto markets.
Yeah, I think the new generation is going to completely, like, this is a generational shift in what you trust and what you don't. All right, moving to crypto investing, and what would you say is good crypto investing? How would you classify that? Because you're curious to hear your thoughts.
I'd say good crypto investing depends on who you are, but in our businesses we serve pretty normal people who are working 8 to 5, or they're maybe retired. Usually we service people who are a bit higher net worth, but they're not Jamie Dimon. They are still like normal Joes. And for them, honestly, good crypto investing is not sitting in front of the computer looking at charts all day, trying to beat these algos and these like 17-year-old super geniuses who day trade meticulously well. Good crypto investing for these people is to build a portfolio that's going to do well regardless of the phase of the market, whether it's a bull market, a bear market, or the market is just flat. And you're putting in that portfolio high yield products that only the primary markets can offer. And you're also putting in spot assets that make sense to hold. They have a good fundamental premise. And I think if you're doing that and you're managing it on a regular interval, not obsessing over it, but making calculated decisions, that is just good crypto investing.
That's the good. How about the junk? Why is there so much junk in the crypto market?
There's so much junk in the crypto market because it is a uncensored financial market, or it is a completely uncensored market, which we've never had before. Up until crypto, all financial markets were extremely censored and extremely regulated. And a lot of bad people, scammers, marketers realized that people are going to be attracted to this freedom, and then they can manipulate them. So you're going to see crazy token launches, lots of marketing campaigns. Lots of our customers, before they came to us, they'd be getting dragged into a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group, and they're going to be sending money overseas, and it's a whole deal. And crypto is ripe for that. And so falling for that stuff is obviously bad crypto investing, but it's also just only paying attention to crypto when everybody else is. When Bitcoin's at 75K, 95K, well, that's when you're going to go in. It's like, it was just at 15K 2 years ago, and you weren't paying attention then. Why? Because bad crypto investing is not understanding what it really is about, the technology. And so you just react to the hype and to the marketing. And so that's really bad crypto investing.
Very nice. All right, back to the good. How do you find high quality assets in crypto?
High quality assets in crypto are increasingly assets that look similar to a for-profit enterprise. There is a service, it is built on chain. That service has users and customers. They pay a fee for that service, and part of that fee goes back to the crypto asset. And so you can approximate the crypto asset to a stock. So that's one category. The other category of crypto assets are the commodities, the fuel. This is the Bitcoin, this is the Ether, this is the Sol. And there are honestly not very many of those. There's maybe going to be 10 at maximum that I would say of that are of quality in that category. And the rest are either going to be financial technology plumbing. So this is Aave, this is Aerodrome, this is Morpho. And the rest are going to be these niched down services that have built on chain that are servicing a specific section of the market, capturing value and passing that back to the crypto asset. And I love those types of crypto assets.
Very nice. Yeah, I do as well. You often talk about primary crypto markets and crypto native investing. Can you explain what those mean, and what's the opportunity for people that can get access?
Yeah, the primary crypto markets are just the markets that are not secondary market exchanges. You're the CEO of a secondary market exchange, and that is suitable for most investors. But there are crypto investors who want to go to the next level. They want to go to the source, the actual blockchain, the infrastructure where these assets are created. And those are the primary crypto markets. In those markets, there are often more extreme crypto products, higher yield products, higher growth products that are also a lot more volatile, which is in part why it's not suitable for most people. Those are the primary crypto markets. Being a crypto native investor means that you're actually understanding the on-chain data in the primary crypto markets. It's not like an app where it's a very, you would say maybe curated information for the app user, like customers of your exchange. Instead, it is on-chain data. You have to go to crazy resources like DeFi Llama, Dune Analytics, other places where it's a lot of data. And if you're a retail user, very difficult to make sense of that. So being crypto native means you're actually able to make sense of that and let that inform the investing decisions you're going to make.
Very nice. Since you mentioned this, how do you find crypto native people that can understand this data and disseminate it in a way that becomes actionable?
Yeah, we really specialize in our people. So we've got some people who work with our customers one-on-one who are crypto native, and their skill set is taking information from a completely different team, which is our research and analysis team. These people are not customer facing. They are in our rooms. They're looking at the on-chain data, and they're making this information more accessible for our associates who can then translate this information for our customers. And it's through specialization that we're able to communicate to people in the market and say, if you are crypto native and you like to talk to customers, then we've got this role for you. Or if you like to do deep on-chain research, we've got this job for you. And so it's actually knowing what we're looking for and specializing the roles that we're able to go into the market and find people who are really into crypto and bring them into our company and get them fulfilling on our service.
Very nice. How does your strategy change as the market cycle evolves? We mentioned bear and bull market. Curious about how you adjust your strategy or approach in either of those phases.
Yeah, it basically boils down to allocation in the portfolio. So when we're in the bull market, we're going to be holding more spot growth assets. We're still always actually going to take, I would say, is arguably a conservative strategy. Though it's maybe 50%, 60% blue chips like Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, but then the remaining 30, 40% is going to be full of high yield products and high growth products. So high growth products, low market cap assets that have some good fundamental attributes that make them a high growth assets. And it's in the bear market that you're just changing that allocation. You're still staying blue chip, but maybe you're selling some into a cash position, so you've got more powder, or you're going more heavily into yield products. Now, maybe high yield products are taking up 40, 50% of your portfolio. And so the actual products you're investing in from bull market to bear market doesn't change up that much. It's just the allocation. Our whole point is you want to be in the right products. You don't want to be in Doge and ETH and then some meme coin that's 30% of your portfolio because it's really big in your WhatsApp group. It's like you got to forget that stuff, or you got to be dialed in doing it 12 hours a day, which if you're watching this, you're not. So you shouldn't do it that way. You should really just have this balanced portfolio.
Fully agreed. Interesting. All right. So what's the best part about your job? What do you enjoy most about your job?
Best part of my job, I really enjoy looking at what's happening in crypto, extracting the stuff that I think is fundamentally important for the economy and society, and then communicating that to the other people, our customers, and honestly, people in my company. I like to really steer the ship and bring in focus into aspects of on-chain development that I really like. For example, people in my company will know I'm very bullish on the X402 technology, which is this protocol standard that more and more on-chain protocols and services are using to allow AI agents to do commerce with each other autonomously. And that is actually, I would say, the biggest product market fit in on-chain markets since DeFi. And despite prices going down over the past month, volume is only increasing. Yeah. And I think that's a very fundamental product market fit that will have big ramifications. It's also why Andreessen Horowitz says that the AI agent the AI agent economic transaction volume by 2030 will be $30 trillion. And they say crypto will be the only financial rails to actually facilitate that. And so it's, for the first time, it's actually a competitive advantage to the traditional economy. And I really like, the best part of my job is finding stuff like that and really trying to draw people's attention to it, because I think that's genuinely something useful I can do.
Fully agree. Then AI agents aren't going to want to use money that stops on New Year's, Christmas, Eid, or other banking.
Or stops unless you submit a passport first.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about future stuff, what's your vision for where the market will be by 2030, and what excites you about crypto most now in the coming years?
Yeah, by 2030, Bitcoin's probably at 350K. Everyone wants a price prediction, so 350K. I think that what you said before, in that working in crypto is going to fall to the wayside, and you're seeing many more specialized services that have niched down to specific market segments. And so, for example, the X402 technology is technology servicing AI agent builders, providers, operators. I think you're going to see more technology being created for specific niches in the market. So we're going to see basically a much more dynamic on-chain economy with many more investment options, and it'll be a much more exciting place to be as an investor.